Hey, all right, cheers. Woo, Coke Zero. Super wonderful. Hey, I'm doing something a little bit different because I'm going to be telling my story. And, from the start, I don't know if I'll get through the whole freaking thing because I got years of freaking being a dumbass. But it's what my story and what happened to me and where I started. And we're going to go all into that. And it's a little bit easier for me to tell my story if I'm standing talking about it rather than just sitting there in the chair because I'm pretty animated. So, like, I'm super glad you guys are on here. We're gonna wait a couple minute or two. I'm gonna go on some stuff and then I'll get into my story. And also, just so you guys know, we got to quit at because I'm doing a panel over at a women's. It's called a Vera Sanctuary. I'm doing a panel over there, and it's where women have experienced a lot of trauma in their life and an addiction. And I'm going to go over there and do a panel with a couple people. So I got to be there early. So we're going to cut this out right about 5:40, right about 5:45, and I'm going to do my best to tell my whole freaking story of what happened to me, what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And I hope we freaking can get through this thing. I got to set a little timer here and to figure this stuff out. All right. So what time is it right now? It is 5:01. 5:01. And so we got 40 minutes, 35, right about 36 minutes. And then we'll go. So I'll try to give the quick version of my story. Because, I get asked a lot of times because I've been doing this stuff over here on TikTok, and I give a little intro on like who I am and, why I'm qualified to be able to do this, to speak to you guys, because I feel I'm very qualified. The basics is, the basics is this. I was a freaking mess. I was a mess up until I was 42 years old. Even when I was sober, I had multiple stints of sobriety, and I was still a freaking mess. So I went through this process of change, taking direction, doing some spiritual practices. And then that it revolutionized my entire life. So I went from that to being a person that's very freaking fulfilled in my life. Very fulfilled. And that stuff is what I am qualified to be able to carry this freaking message. I went from sad, angry, frustrated, irritated, depressed, strung out, tweaked out into a life that I'm very, very, very happy to be in. I like being here. Like, I like this place called life. Like, I like it a lot. Because the world didn't change. I changed. And when I changed, my whole freaking world changed. And I want to share that too. Just so you guys know, your life only gets better when you get better. Not when the world gets better. That doesn't mean that your life is going to get better when the world gives you $1 million or when the world gives you a car or an apartment or a house, or a relationship or a baby. That doesn't make you better. You get better from the inside, and then your whole world changes. So let's get into this. Let's get into my story, and I'll start from the top. I don't know how many people are on here, but I am glad you are on here. And thank you so much for showing up right now. Because if I was sitting here around by myself with no one to help or no one to carry a message to, I'd probably be freaking in a weird motel doing weird shit. And that is not cool. That is not cool. And little disclaimer, I don't know everything. I don't know everything, and I'll never tell you that the 12 steps is the only way to change your freaking life. It just so happens that that's what I did, and I learned that these spiritual practices in the 12 steps, they don't have a monopoly on it, and lots of super happy, successful people in this world operate with these same spiritual principles. Like, don't harm people, don't be the victim, find joy and gratitude in this place called life, accept and embrace adversity, Don't sit and bitch and complain about it. See where you can help others, see where you can add value to other people's lives. These are spiritual internal principles that people that are happy, successful, confident, and strong practice in their lives. Same principles, they're timeless. So let's get into this. Okay, so my name is Danny. I'm an alcoholic, an addict. I was freaking messed up for many years of my life, and I was lost. And I have a recovery clean sobriety date of January 2nd, 2012. And so I just picked up 14 freaking years. And this is the most important thing that I possess right here. That is my sobriety date. That stands for my sobriety. January 2nd, 2012. January 1st was the last time I did any mind-altering substance. The last time I did any freaking thing, and I stayed completely abstinent in this place called life. And I call this thing the hero's path. You know why it's the hero's path? Because heroes don't need nothing. I don't need nothing to get me up in the morning. I don't need nothing to blow off steam. I don't need nothing to take the edge off. I don't need nothing. Whatever the world has for me, bring it. Bring it. I will accept it. I will accept the challenges. I will accept the difficulties. I will accept this place called life, because nothing happens in life by mistake, and bring it. And some stuff is gnarly, and some stuff is difficult, and some stuff is not cool, but bring it. Because I have this heart inside today that I can get through whatever, and I don't need a substance to help me. I don't need no crutches. I don't need nothing to be happy. Like nothing. I don't need nothing. All right, so let's get into my story. Okay, so I got that date. And I've had a lot of sobriety clean dates in my life. I've had a lot of them. I've had, I'd get 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year and a half. I'd get this over and over and over again. And I was never happy or fulfilled during those times. I was bored, restless, irritable, discontent, trying to freaking make the world operate the way I wanted it so that I could be happy, and it just led to frustration, and it always led to relapse. So, taking it back, just so you guys know, I've been to 10 rehabs. Woodland was my 10th rehab. I've been to thousands of meetings before this last time, since January 2nd. I've been to thousands of meetings. I went to all these freaking detoxes. I went to all these freaking programs, all these freaking, all just in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out for years. I've also spent 15 years of my life in prison, and I'm not saying that because I'm a tough guy and I spent all the years. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's my story. I've done 4 prison terms. The longest prison term I did, they gave me 10 years. I did 8 years, 2 months on that. And I still didn't change my ways. I still didn't. Even after I got out of there, I just thought that if I go to school and I stick with my family and I stop screwing around, then I'm going to be great. Nope. Still wound up going back to prison for another 3 years. So I want to take it back to this feeling that is super, as it is what I chased after my entire freaking life. And that feeling inside, I noticed it when I was 14 years old. I was 14 years old. I'm living in Newport Beach, the mean streets of Newport Beach. I'm living with my mom. At that time, my mom was a Superior Court judge. My father had been a Laguna Beach police officer, and then now he was a private investigator. And I'm 14 years old, and I'd already been fighting and screwing around with stuff, and I was grounded. And I remember I was grounded, and so they were going out for the night, and they told me, okay, Danny, we're going out for the night. And it was me and my brother there, and we're going out for the night, so no friends, you can't have anybody over here, no TV, no nothing, no phone, no TV, don't go anywhere, you're grounded. All right, I'm grounded. Okay, I'm grounded. I'm not going anywhere. And so they leave, and then I looked at my watch. I'm like, ooh, I got a couple hours to go screw around after their car left. So I leave after they leave, and I go down to the pier, and I'm with my friends, and we're smoking and joking. And then we stood out in front of the liquor store, and we pimped some Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill, and we downed that. And so we're having a good time. We're all just drunk and messed up, and it's great. And then I'm going, ooh, it's getting late. I got to get back to my house. So I go staggering back to my house. And when I got there, I looked in front of the house, and their car was in front of the freaking house. I didn't make it. I didn't make it in time. And I don't want to go into the house. I do not, because they're in there, they're pissed off. I'm not there. I don't want to go into that. I do not. I mean, this is the 80s, and people were very handsy back then, you know? And I don't want to go in there. I do not want to go in there. And I'm sitting there just like scared and worried. And so I just made this decision. You know what? I'm just never going to go home ever again. I'm going to run away. Fuck. So I left. So I leave and I go back down to the pier. I'm with my friends. We're getting screwed up some more. And it's getting late and they're going home. My friends are going home. And I'm asking my friends, hey, can I stay at your house tonight? No. Hey, let me crash at your... No. And I'm asking, and everyone's going home, and I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm out there, and I'm like, screw it. I'm drunk, I'm feeling all these feelings, and I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go sleep in the sand by the pier. So I go staggering out to the sand by the pier, and I lay down in the sand, and I'm drunk, and I'm high, and I'm like, but there was like, ooh, it's kind of cold out here. You know, I got my combat boots and my leather jacket, and I'm laying in the sand, and it was like right after it had rained, and it was cold. But there was this other feeling that was more powerful than that. And that other feeling was, at least I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do, and no one tells me nothing. No one tells me nothing. I'm doing what I want with whoever I want, anytime I want, and no one tells me nothing. It's me against the world. And that feeling, freedom. That felt like freedom. Basically, I had the courage inside. I feel all this stuff inside, and it gave me basically tell the whole world, F you. And I like that feeling. And that feeling for me, that was freedom. It was courage. It was just wonder. And I chased that feeling for years. But there were times, getting arrested, going back home, getting, truancy, all this crap. And then there were times, though, like I remember years later, a couple years, where I'm in this garage and I'm working on this bicycle. I was working on this bicycle in this garage. And I'm all dirty and gross. And I'm working on that bicycle for like 11 days straight. And I hear this little voice in the back of my head. And that voice is my mom's voice. It's saying, Danny, you are so smart. You are so intelligent. Can't you have so much potential? Can't you see that stuff is ruining your life? Can't you see it? And I'm like, and I heard it then. I'm like, she's right. What am I doing? So back then I had to call a treatment center every single day. I had to call a treatment center every single day because I got to get clean. I got to get sober. And I called it every day. And then finally I had to have a bed. And I showed up there and I got tears in my eyes. And I'm like, I'm going to be amazing. Finally, this stuff is ruining my life. And the guy says, welcome home. You got to come in here and you got to do some chores. And you got to make your bed every day. And you got to go to these groups and you got to do all this stuff. And I'm like, whatever you need. I'm going to be, you watch. I'm going to be amazing. You watch. As soon as I get cleaned up, you watch. Thank you so much for saving my life. And 2 weeks later, I'm holding hands with a bunch of freaking weirdos in a prayer circle. Yeah, I don't feel amazing. I think I overreacted. This is not it. And so I'd go back out there and leave again. Go back out there and leave again. And here's something else, the 12 steps is the 12 steps, and I know that sometimes people set trip, NA, CA, CMA, AA, they freaking set trip. So here is something weird, and this is the deal, okay? So Alcoholics Anonymous, which is so freaking weird, okay? I'm going to tell you why it's weird, because I remember I went to this one of my treatment centers that I went to, and this is after I'd been doing time in prison, after I'd been doing all this freaking shooting all this stuff and smoking all the 10 and 2 and doing all the, and doing all that stuff that I'd been doing. I had gone to, so I'd gotten to this treatment center, and they said, hey, everybody, we're going to take you to an AA meeting, and we suggest that you get a sponsor. So they're like, everybody get into the druggy buggy. Get into the druggy buggy. Everyone get into the alcoholer. I heard one recently. Get into the Ativan. So I get into this van and we go to this meeting. And I heard this guy share, and it was kind of neat. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask that guy to sponsor me. I don't know. So after the meeting, I went and I seen that guy, and I talked to him. And I'm like, hey, bro, you shared something that was kind of neat. And, I'm at that rehab, and they told us to get a sponsor. And, will you sponsor me? And the guy goes, yeah, I'll sponsor you. He goes, you got a big book? And I go, yeah, I got a big book. And he goes, you got a highlighter? And I'm like, yeah, they gave us a freaking highlighter. He goes, I want you to go back to that treatment center, and I want you to read Bill's story, and I want you to read the doctor's opinion. I want you to highlight stuff in that book that you can relate to. I'm like, okay. So I went back to the treatment center and I opened this book and I read this freaking doctor's opinion. And I'm like, what are you talking about, William said? What are you, this freaking surgeon guy, proctologist that, that treats alcoholism, addiction, and, and all this. And then I read Bill's story and I'm like, a stockbroker from the 1930s drinking bathtub gin, rolling around with a wife and a sidecar and an investment bank. Like, what are you talking about? I'm a convict, junkie, criminal. I do this, and I freaking smoke this, and I eat this, and I fight, and I do crime, and I do all this. Where are my people in this freaking book? I had nothing to highlight because I don't relate with none of it. But see, the thing is, I was very shallow back then. I was doing everything I could possibly do to separate myself from you because I'm freaking different. I'm different. I would say that because I would say, you haven't been to the places I've been. You haven't seen the things I've seen. You haven't, and I know you haven't done the things I've done. So how are you going to tell me anything? You don't know me. I'm different. But there's this one thing that crosses all boundaries. And that's called feelings. I know what pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization feels like. I know what it feels like to be the biggest loser in my freaking life, even though I don't want to be. I know what it feels like to be the biggest disappointment in my family's life, even though I don't want to be. I know what it feels like to keep being compelled to mess with something that's tearing my life apart, but I can't freaking stop it. I know what it feels like to be lost, lonely, cold, broken, afraid, sad, depressed. Feelings. See, just because And a lot of people don't agree with this, but I'm telling you right now, just because my prison was the 5th tier of Folsom, and I'm in my cell and I'm shooting this crap and I'm drinking this crap and I'm going out of my freaking mind, lost my children, lost my freedom, lost my dignity, lost my joy for living, lost everything in life, does not mean that my prison is any better or worse than a housewife that has never had a speeding ticket, and she's in her $1 million kitchen drinking herself to death, losing her children, losing her husband, losing her home, losing her job, losing her children, losing her family, losing her dignity, her self-respect, losing her happiness, losing her joy for living. We are both going through the same emotional shit. Doesn't matter that I'm in prison. It doesn't matter that she's in a penthouse. We are both suffering. So no, you haven't been to the same places I've been. You haven't seen the things I've seen, and you haven't done the things I've done. But I know pretty much everyone watching this has felt the same way I have felt. Lost, lonely, afraid, angry, irritated, frustrated, confused. That is why we're human beings. And that's why we're kind of the same. We suffer. We suffer. So at that time, I wound up going back out because all I did was see the differences. I just would not, people they didn't know me, and I would go back out there. You know, I got this analogy that this program, these spiritual practices, these steps, okay, I always say AA doesn't have a monopoly on them, but they have a good formula for them, and they have a good application for those spiritual principles, okay? So this last time, so I got this analogy, and it's like this. I have spent my whole life in this dark cave, this dark, cold, lonely cave. And the only thing that I have is these 2 freaking rocks. And I'm banging these rocks together in this cold, dark, lonely, bang, 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 bang. And every once in a while I get a little spark and I get a little fire. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's warm in this cave right now. Hell yeah. And the fire goes out. And then I pick up these rocks and I'm bang, 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 bang. Get a little spark, get a little fire. And I'm like, okay, this is okay in here. It's nice and warm. And I love it. And the fire goes out. Meanwhile, people that want to help me, people that are freaking want to help me, people that love me or care about me are walking by the mouth of the cave, and they are looking in that cave, and they're like, Danny, what are you doing in there? Don't you know that there's a life out here full of rainbows and butterflies and joy and opportunity and sunlight and mountains and kayaks and rivers and streams? Don't get out of the cave. I'm busy right now. I'm working on something. Bang, 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 bang. Get a little fire, get a little spark. It's nice in here now. And the fire goes out. And then came to this place where I'm beating rocks and nothing's happening and I'm not feeling good and I'm not feeling alive and I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling irritated, I'm feeling nothing's happening. Even when I get a little fire, it's still not even working. It's not even keeping me warm. So I'm like, hey, you guys, how do I get out of this cave? Take these 12 steps out of the cave. Okay, put down the rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, we had some good times back in. Remember that big old fire? Remember that? We had some good times. Hey, you guys, I'm going back. And I go back, banging these freaking rocks together, because for me, that fire represents, that little banging those rocks and getting a little fire, that represents my only warmth. drugs and alcohol. I didn't know anything else. That was my only warmth, and that's why I'd always go back. This last time, beaten, confused, nothing's working. I'm a pathetic, pitiful mess. Hey, you guys, how do I get out of this cave? Take these fucking 12 steps out. Take these fucking 12. Trust God, clean house, help others. Okay. 1, 2, yeah, I did this before. 3, yeah, I did this before. 4, yeah, this is stupid. 5, yeah, this is, I got shit I gotta do. 6, 7, 8, and it started getting lighter. And I started feeling warmer. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, outside the mouth of the cave, down into the freaking valley, looking around at life and going, oh my God, there is rainbows and butterflies and kayaks and rivers and streams and joy and love and opportunities all around this place. Why did you leave me in there? Why didn't you make me get out of there? Because I was the only one that can walk out. I had to be shown the steps, and I had to take those steps. No one can drag me out. Now I look back on that mountain, and you know what I see? You know what I see back on that mountain? I see thousands and thousands of caves, thousands of people trapped in the bondage of self, lost, cold, lonely, afraid, confused, thousands of caves, and they're all in there banging freaking rocks, thousands. And you know what I want to do? I want to free them all of them. Because it's weird, this thing called serenity. I also got this gift of compassion that I give a fuck about people suffering today in a way that I never have before. That's why I do this. I care. I know compassion's the weirdest shit ever. I never had it before because I was so lost tripping on myself. I didn't give a fuck about you. But now people are watching and I give a fuck. I care about you. I don't want you to suffer no more, and you don't have to. I'm just telling you, this weird little path that I went on, it freed me. It released it. So this last time, 42 years old, getting out of freaking prison, getting out of, because I was going in and out, in and out. I stayed out for 2 years, and I freaking thought school was going to be my solution. I thought hanging out with my family is going to be the solution. And I thought if I just work and do this, and I start chipping a little bit, just a line, just to win a little, just a little something, just a little drink, just a beer, just a little something. And I was like operating, and then that's called chipping. And chipping always turns into chunking. So I started chunking, and I went back out, and I went to prison for 3 more freaking years. So 42 years old, I'm on the bus, and I'm getting out of prison. I just did some more time, and I do what tough guys do, and that's I called my mom, and I'm on this bus. And I never like to give people my exact date when I'm getting out. I would like to surprise them. Surprise, I'm home. So I called her on the bus, and I'm like, hey, Mom, I just got out. I'm really fit right now. I feel really good. I can't wait to see you. I'm on the bus right now. I'll be in Santa Ana in a couple hours, and I'm so excited. I got some jobs lined up. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see Kayleen. That's my daughter, and it's going to be wonderful, and I love you so much. And my mom goes, Danny, I'm glad you called. I'm glad you're out of prison. I have cancer, and I'm going to die. And you will never set foot in this house ever again as long as I'm alive. Not that I don't love you, but something bad is going to happen to you. You're going to die from a heroin overdose, or you're going to do something stupid and go to prison for the rest of your life. And I don't want you around the family when that day comes. Take care of yourself. That's what my mom said. She hung up the phone. 7 days later, I'm in a weird house, doing all this stuff and doing all this stuff and drinking all this stuff, and I'm freaking out of my mind. I'm plotting crimes. Who am I going to rob? Who am I going to come up on? What's going to happen? And I'm freaking going crazy, and I'm freaking drunk and high and wasted, and I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about nothing. And then I looked over in the corner of the room, and there was a black trash bag in the corner of that room. And you know what was in that black trash bag? Everything I own. Everything I own was in the sum result of my entire life's work was in a black trash bag. Every book I ever read, every bit of knowledge that I ever got out of this place called life, every class I ever took, everything I learned about life, the sum result of my entire life's work was a black trash bag with 2 pairs of pants that my mom bought me, some hygiene that my sister got me from a package, and all these letters writing all these people telling them how it was going to be different when I got out. I had become the same idiot as when I was 14 years old. I had not grown. I had not changed. So I found out some friends of mine were at this program called Woodglen. And I called them and and I got there and then I heard this, I just felt screwed. I felt screwed for 2 reasons. One reason why I felt screwed is like the thought that I'm never going to do anything ever again. Because at that point I was convinced if I smoke one of these, I do a lot of that. If I freaking drink some of that, it's just going to happen. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. Every time I do anything, I wind up going back to prison. I mean, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 months, it might be a year, but inevitably I can't stop and I go to prison as soon as I start screwing around. So I'm convinced that I can't screw around no more. And I felt screwed for that because now you've taken away my warmth, the only thing that ever made me feel warm in life. And the other reason I felt screwed is I've been sober before. I've been sober lots of times before. And the reason I felt screwed is because it was never great. Sobriety back then, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year, it was never great. It was okay. It was all right. It was neato. Sober bowling, sober dating. Yay, at the movies, eating popcorn when you're sober with the date and you're feeling like, no, it was not great. I still felt insecure, weak, and like a lame idiot. That's why I felt screwed. Because now I have to live like that for the rest of my fucking life. That's what I believe, because that was my only experience at sobriety. So I heard this guy on this panel. This guy on this panel says, you know what? The program isn't putting the plug in the jug, stop screwing around, and now you're going to be amazing. The program's a 12 steps. And I thought, how many freaking 12-step meetings have I been to? Thousands at that point. How many 12-step programs have I been to? This was my 10th 12-step program. How many sponsors have I had? Quite a few. How many times have I read that big book? A lot by then, because I got to read them every time I go to a freaking rehab. But have I ever done the 12 steps? No. So I got this sponsor, and I go, okay, whatever you want me to, I just surrender, whatever you want me to, I didn't know anymore. I didn't know nothing anymore. Whatever you freaking want me to do, I made this internet to say, whatever you want, I'm going to do all 12 of these, because I don't know what else to freaking do. And I seen happy people doing it, and I'm like, okay, kumbaya, let's do it. So with my first step, okay, I'm powerless. I get it. My power, I got a black trash bag. Step 2, came to believe in a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. All I got out of that was an agreement. I agree that if I want more than a black trash bag, I got to have some other power. Okay, gotcha. That's all. I mean, I know. Step 3, made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood him. Okay, so I call my sponsor and I go, okay. He goes, okay, we're on the 3rd step. Did you read pages 60, 63? Did you write down the 3rd step prayer 5 times? Yeah. Did you memorize it? Yeah. So my sponsor comes and he picks me up in his truck and we go to Burger King. And he says, okay, now let's do this 3rd step prayer. So he reaches over and he grabs my freaking hand like a girl. He grabs it like this, and he holds my hand, and we say this freaking prayer together. God, I don't mess up to thee to build me. We say this third step prayer together. He lets go of my hand and he says to me, and he goes, now I don't want you to go day, Danny, without hitting your knees and saying that third step prayer just like it is in the book. And right then I balked. I told him, listen, this is the thing. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in some magic man up there listening to all of our prayers and all the world with all the wars of all their religions, and they all say they're freaking right. I go, that's a bunch of shit. I didn't say it was a bunch of shit. I just go, I don't believe, so I'm probably not going to hit my knees and do this third step thing. And he goes, you know, Danny, you to say that there is no God, that's your ideas. You not wanting to hit your knees, that resistance is your ideas. Where's your happy family, Danny? They don't want nothing to do with me. Do you have a home? I'm at that fucking rehab. Do you have a car? Do you have a bank account? Do you have a 401k? Do you have any money? He goes, oh, wait, you don't have any money. I just bought you a pack of smokes and I just bought you a burger. So just maybe the solution to your life is being presented to you right now, but you can't see it because you're so full of your own ideas that get you nothing but suffering, pain, and misery and failure. And plus, when you asked me to sponsor you, I asked you, are you willing to do whatever it takes to find victory over this thing? He goes, you said yes. And then he said, were you lying to me? And right then, when I got out of prison on the bus, my mom also told me, you've made 1 million promises, Danny, and you've never kept one. So right when he said, hey, I asked you, are you willing to do whatever it takes? You said yes. Were you lying? Right then I heard my mom's voice. You've made 1 million promises and never kept one. I was smart enough to know in that moment that if I can't keep my word to one person in this place called life, I will always and forever be a failure. I've got to keep my word to somebody. I broke it to everybody. I broke my word. If I can't keep my word to one person in this life, I will always be a failure. So I told him, okay, I'll do the knees, I'll do the praying, and I'll do this stuff, whatever. You know what prayer is like? Prayer is like if I have a giant bowl of M&Ms and I take one M&M out. Do you notice a difference? No. If I have 10,000 M&Ms in a bowl and I take one out, do you notice a difference? No. That's why we stop praying. Day after day on my knees praying to this God that I didn't freaking believe in. Day after day, one more M&M was coming out of that bowl, and another M&M, and another M&M, and another M&M. More and more M&Ms were coming out of this bowl. I started praying, learning meditation, prayer, meditation, awareness, guidance, calling, working. More and more M&Ms were coming out of this bowl. My fifth step, sixth step, doing this stuff more and more. And I started feeling lighter and braver and more. I started not tripping on things that I always tripped on. I kept working. I kept seeking guidance. I kept praying. I kept meditating. And I was feeling lighter. All the hate, the anger, all that started going away. It's just, you know who I am today? The man I've always wanted to be. This guy. I don't feel inferior to anybody, and I don't feel superior to anybody. I'm exactly who I've always wanted to be. I am not perfect. I got fears and insecurities and problems and frustrations and things that come into my life, but I accept them all. Bring it. Bring it. I accept them all. I ain't gonna, what do you call someone that bitches about every little thing? That's a little bitch. That's what I was. I'm not going to have a minimum wage job. I'm not going to live in sober living. I'm not going to ride a bicycle. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I don't like this. I don't like that. I would just bitch and complain. Oh, fuck that. I don't like that. No, that ain't it. That ain't how I was. I was just bitch about everything. The last things is this. I see life in a way that I never have before. That paradigm shift, that psychic change, that spiritual awakening, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it happened to me. That's why I keep doing this stuff, to keep that window of my heart open. If I stop helping people and I stop carrying a message, that thing will close. And I will be a selfish fucking pig tripping on myself all day. And I don't want it to fucking close. That's why I'm going to keep two of the most important things in my life. Two of the most important things in my life. Carrying the message and helping new people. I can't help everybody, but I constantly have people, new people around me that I'm working to help every single freaking day. That stuff is more important than my family. That stuff is more important than my wife. That stuff's more important than my job, my career, more important than anything in my fucking life, because those two things is the only thing that I've done that ripped open my heart and took away my selfishness. The last two things is this. My mom today is cancer free. I'm welcome at her house at any time. My daughter, I just became a grandfather. I just became a grandfather. I just talked to my daughter yesterday, and then I just talked to my mom almost every freaking day. She trusts me. She believes in me. She counts on me. She confides in me. Like I got, and then like I'm not perfect, but this is the best it's ever freaking been in my entire life. All because I surrendered my ego is bullshit, and I allowed another person to show me how to live, to teach me how to live. There's 3 ways to fire this thing: prayer, meditation, and guidance. This thing in my head screwed me. I'll never tell you that this was the only way, but this is what happened to me. And then I found out over the years of, reading all this spiritual stuff about the paradigm shift, the spiritual reading, it's all the same stuff. It's out of the darkness and into the light. But we cannot solve the problem on the same level of consciousness that created it. We need guidance. We need help. We need assistance. And this is the last thing. That bowl of M&Ms, you know what that was? Pride, anger, hate, fear, resentment, irritation, boredom, frustration, loneliness, all these freaking negative shit that I went through a lifetime and packed into my heart. That's why I had to drink to get some relief from that. I didn't know it was possible to let those energies out and to let those negative things out and to be able to freaking grow the heart open. I didn't know that was possible because I never experienced it before. That's why I continue to carry this message. Thank you guys so much for hearing me. God, we're out of time. That's my story. That's what happened to me. And it can happen for you too, I promise. There are some badass people out there. So this is the last thing. I'm sorry we can't get to a bunch of shout outs and we can't answer a bunch of questions right now because I got to run out. But I do need to make an announcement. So Fearless 36 is a cohort that I created that we can do 36 days together and practice some spiritual principles to let go of the fear that is screwing us up, to let go of the fear, the shame, the worry, practices of the insides that allow us to I created this thing, 6 practices done every day with a little wisdom and insight every single day to let go of this shit. First, we become aware of it, and then we learn how to let go of it. And that's for 36 days. You can find, if you're interested in that, Fearless 36. I got the information in the link or in the description. You can check that out and sign up. It's going to be towards the end of, it's coming up in February, this next month, and you can sign up and we could walk this path together. And I'll be meeting with you guys here and there during that journey. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I genuinely, sounds weird, I know, but I love you. I love people in a way I never have before, and that's weird shit. It really is. People I don't even know I care about, because I don't want people to suffer no more, because suffering fucking sucks. It's like the worst. And suffering by yourself sucks hard. But I promise you there's a way out. It happened to me and millions of other people. Thank you guys so much. And that's all I got today. I look forward to seeing you guys next